Good day, everybody. Glad you could join us once again on this latest edition of Grilling the Birds, brought to you by Inside the Birds. I'm D.Gunn, along with my main man, Trey Thomas. And here we are for a second consecutive week. The Eagles take a quality opponent down to the wire and can't find a way to get over the hump in the end. And so here we stand looking at a Philadelphia Eagles team that's 1-4-1 right now. And Trey, it's become an all too common theme. But when you look at the bigger scheme of things and you look at how depleted this team is, in some ways it's understandable.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you have all of this going on, all of these different injuries. Everybody's banged up. Everybody's hurting. And here we are. You know, you go up against a team like Baltimore where I didn't expect for them to win this game. Going into this game, I just counted it as a loss just because what Baltimore presents on defense and just how dynamic Lamar Jackson is with that offense. But we found ourselves at the end of the game, you know, almost having a chance to pull that thing off. But like a lot of people used to tell me, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades and cornhole.
All right, we're gonna start with the head coach Doug Pederson because here we go again. We listen to Doug second guess himself. This is like the third time this has happened this season, Trey. And I want to get your thoughts because I had no idea what he's doing when he went for 2 points right after the first touchdown. And whatever the heck that play was, they designed for the 2-point conversion that could have tied the game with 1:16 left in the game. Give me your general thoughts on some of that play calling, especially in those key situations.
Yeah, I just felt like it was the same play that they called the first time when you had Miles Sanders' big touchdown. They came down there and they ran a 2-point conversion with Jalen Hurts in the backfield as the quarterback. But he went down there. Again, the defense came in. They stopped it. That was the first time they ran it. So then now you come in, you have a situation where we go into a 2-minute situation where now you call the play. You say, okay, you know what? We're going to go quarterback sneak. We're on the 1-yard line. You had the 2-minute break, so that's like an extra timeout. So now we go quarterback sneak. We scored a touchdown. I don't understand why it took so long to get the play call in. Because now you come in and you try to make the call, time is ticking, and we're running the same exact play. It's just the only difference is we didn't have a tight end on the line of scrimmage on that particular play. So now I thought that either way, even with the way, if they would have ran that play, it would have been busted anyway, just because they went to the wrong linebacker. Jordan Milada, it was a false start on him, but the referees let it go. But since he got off the ball so quick, the defensive end was able to crash down, and I mean, they just blew that play up right out of the backfield before it can even get started.
Now, I wonder on that second 2-point try that could have tied the game, do you think he was hesitant because he's trying to think in terms of, okay, I don't have Zach Ertz here. I don't have Miles Sanders here. But still, he should have had something in the repertoire for a situation like that.
You know what? It should have been something different. I mean, you could have came with this is the second time. That was the second time you ran that play in this game. You know, you could have came with, if anything, give him an option that he could have ran or passed the ball. That play was just a total run play. There was no pass built into it. It was all zone read. We're going to try to fake the run up in the middle, and then if we can, I'll come out of it from the backside. We'll option off of the linebacker, but you had 2 guys there. And another thing that they did, they sent the man in motion in this play. So you bring a man in motion, they're in man-to-man. So you bring a man in motion to the left. What that did, that brought an extra defender to the party. And, I mean, it was just no way that they can go ahead and handle that. That play was going to be the same whether they got it off or whatever. It was not going to work.
Well, 2 2-point tries, they both failed. And, of course, at his Monday press conference, Dougie P second-guessing himself about certain situations. And here's one clip of what he's talking about.
You know, we had obviously the play call. Yeah, I as you heard this morning, you know, obviously you guys tuned into WIP and listened to my comments. So, you know, a timeout in that situation could have been beneficial, probably to get the play or a better play possibly in there. So that's on me.
Okay. 3, 2, and 1. You know, Trey, when I listen to Doug Pederson, it almost sounds like he's speaking now out of desperation, because I think he's as perplexed as we are in terms of what do I do in certain situations? Who do I trust? Other than Jason Kelce and Carson Wentz, who do I trust in certain situations?
Yeah, I mean it's tough, you know, and you never want to hear your coach always keep coming in on Mondays saying, "Hey, you know what? I should have done this. I should have done that." Because then now, you know, the fan base is already questioning everything. You know how the fan base here is in Philly, you know, and then you come out and you start saying, "All right, you know what? Maybe I should have done this a little bit better. Maybe I should have done that a little bit better." You know, constantly second guessing yourself. You know, that's going to start seeping into the locker room a little bit as well, I would think, if you just continue to have that type of mindset. Everybody needs to feel that you're making the right decisions at that time and that you're leading guys in the battle with the right mindset, not always coming back on the Monday saying, "Hey, you know what, my bad. Maybe I should have done something better."
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because you look at the Dallas Cowboys situation. Now, they're leading the division at 2-4, but what do we hear leaking out of Dallas on Monday? Players questioning the head coach. Players saying that the coaches don't coach us up in practice. They don't know what they're doing. And I'm glad you brought that up because you're right. And I've heard this time and time again from players when things are going bad. When the coach is openly admitting to the general public that, you know, I could have done something different. Now, players start looking at the coaches sideways in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, it's not a good look, you know. Even if you make a mistake, and I get it, and you want to be, you know, the type of person to say, "Look, I'm going to be up front with everybody and just let you know when I make a mistake." But certain stuff, you should just be like, "Hey, man, you know, you don't need to push it out there." You know, if you felt like, you know, just, you know, because I just feel like really at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you have a tight unit and that the guys in that locker room feel comfortable with the decisions that are being made. You don't want them to start second guessing you. It's okay if the fans second guess you because they don't know what you're calling. Everybody's not behind closed doors. But if the guys in the locker room start looking at these interviews and they say, "Well, hey, man, you're just openly telling, hey, man, you know what? That was my bad. I should have done something different." And this is the third time this year that you've taken that stance, you know, that's going to continue to be a problem.
All right, so Doug Pederson did his part to contribute to this loss, and of course the players did their part to contribute to this loss as well. And we began with that Eagles opening series. The first two plays, a sack, a lost play after that. So the first two plays are minus 13 yards. You start out in a 3rd and 23, and you're just thinking, okay, let them pick up some positive yards. Carson goes up top. He's got John Hightower wide open and drop. And I'm sitting here like this. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Is that a lack of practice for a young player? A lack of focus? What do you attribute that to?
I think it was just, you know, you're dependent on a rookie to save the game for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, yeah, Hightower should have caught that ball. That's what you're in the NFL for. You're a wide receiver. You have to catch that ball. No matter what, you need to focus in. But, you know, again, we're dependent on rookies to save us right now, and that's a problem. Yeah. You know, that's a problem. Regardless of it, this is his first game, you know, in front of fans in Philly. You know, but all the other games have just been just you and the teammates and whatever, and the stands have been empty. So you bring 5,000 fans in there, and you drop the ball. You know, that's just a tough situation. I think it was just a lack of focus. You know, but this is something, again, you depending on rookies to save you.
You know what, Trey? And I've seen a lot of people talking about this on social media, exactly what you just said. We're depending on unproven players to bail us out in certain situations. But you look at the situation, the Eagles have nowhere else to go. They don't have a lot of money to go out and buy pieces to plug into the equation right now. Again, Howie Roseman has to be looking at the bigger picture beyond this season. They have maybe, 10, 12 million in cap space now, but if they're going to be I'm looking at the latest cap figures for 2021, I think it's down to 69, 70 million. They're over the cap. So they're hand-strapped. They have nowhere else to go right now.
Yeah. So all you can do is to depend on these guys. That's all you have. But these guys, I mean, you know, if you're on this stage, you have to continue to prove that you belong on this stage. So you got to make that catch, man. I mean, no matter what. Yeah, but you never want to start the game off with a sack, just number one. I mean, you know. Because then now you're all downhill because now you're just trying to figure out how to get something going. And then you start the game off with a sack. Then you come back and you want to run a screen play, but you didn't block the screen correctly because you had a blitzer come off and got a good hit on the quarterback again. So, I mean, it was just all downhill just right out the gate.
And, of course, that first drive for the Eagles was a momentum killer because the Ravens get the ball. They go right back down the field, and they score a touchdown to go up by 7. And then a little bit later in the game, now a player with a little bit more proven pedigree, Miles Sanders, wide open, sure 6 points. Now, I understand it was a somewhat difficult catch. You're twisting and turning. But you know what? You get paid to play the game, and you practice that stuff in practice. You got to make that catch, man. Nobody's within 20 feet of you. You got to make that catch, man.
Yeah, I think Miles he definitely needs to make that catch. But again, this is a second-year player, another young guy. You know what I'm saying? But I just really feel like he should have made that catch. It seemed like he got all twisted, didn't know which way he wanted to go. If it's gonna go inside shoulder, outside shoulder, where am I gonna go? The ball is on me, or now it's on the ground. Okay, I'm done. So this is something that. These guys need to continue to drill and drill and drill. But then you go back and you look at, what's happening in practice? Were you going full speed? Was the ball always going to be perfect for you? Did you work on some of those different angles? You know what I'm saying? So how much of this did you actually practice in the game? Because it seemed like it was foreign to you at the time.
Well, one of the positives for Miles before he departed this game was that 74-yard run. And Trey, it was basically the same run the Eagles hit Pittsburgh with, that zone run. And 74 yards, of course, we held our breath because he got stripped near the goal line, and luckily J.J. Arcega-Whiteside pounced on it. But when you have a fast defense, like the Baltimore Ravens, a fast physical defense, you're not going to outrun this team sideline to sideline. You have to keep punching at them between the tackles. Now, the Eagles finished up with 194 yards rushing, granted. Miles had, 8 carries for 118 yards, and, of course, Carson Wentz had 49 yards. But still, you got to punch a team like that in the mouth between the tackles. So I'm surprised they didn't keep trying to come back to it a little bit more.
Yeah, and then, this one thing I can say about Baltimore, they came with a lot of different looks. They came with a lot of different linebacker schemes mixed in with some defensive tackles. And, they mixed it up pretty good. It came with some nice pressures, some nice little run blitzes every now and then to kind of shut things down, But on that particular play, I think that it was really nice to go ahead and set him up with that nice little delayed inside zone. Miles did an excellent job of cutting back. And then, again, you got J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, just blocking downfield, getting it done. And then the ball falls out of the ball falls out of Miles Sanders' hands. And there you go. JJ is just, I'm glad that he didn't step out of bounds, first of all. That was awesome that he didn't step out of bounds. Scoops the ball, looks at Miles Sanders lying on his stomach. You don't know if he's in pain or not. Holds his hands up and beats his chest like, yeah, I just scored this touchdown.
So if you're the coach, what do you say to JJ when he comes to the sideline in a situation like that?
Good. All you can say is good job, man. Way to be there. Help your teammate up. Miles Sanders did all the heavy lifting, even though you did a good job. He wouldn't have gotten there if JJ was out there blocking, wasn't out there blocking. JJ did his part in it as well. But to get the ball and stand up and beat your chest in celebration, like, yeah, I just did that. Look at me. Look at the work I did. I don't know. This squad is hilarious, man.
This is a season of unexpected and unpredictable up to this point. A few weeks ago, we didn't know who this guy named Travis Fulgham was. All of a sudden, this past Sunday, we hear a guy's name called catching a 3-yard touchdown named Jason Croom, and everybody's like looking at their notes and who? What?
Yeah.
Jason who? Where'd he come from? So again, out of necessity, here comes the emergence of another unknown commodity.
And for whatever reason, I feel like Carson Wentz plays better with players like that. Guys that don't have the names, that don't have the all the years in the league and have all of that clout behind them. I think for whatever reason, Carson just gels a little bit better with those guys, those younger guys that are still trying to make a name for themselves in this game. And, I don't know what it is, but to me, it just seems that way, where he just goes all out for them. And I think it's what you have players that are hungry, that feel like, what, I'm still trying to get something out of this game. And they want it. You don't go to their house and see a wall full of game balls and all of that, because these guys are still trying to get there. And I think that these guys, Carson, for whatever reason, plays a lot better with those level players.
All right, it brings us to the offensive line play now. No Lane Johnson this game. Jack Driscoll went down. But there was one guy in particular I know you want to focus on, who is a proven NFL player, or so we thought. And basically, from what you've been telling me, thumbs down on Jamon Brown.
Yeah, man. I just went back home. I just went back over.
Here we go.
I just went back through the film, man. And this is the funny thing about Jamon Brown, and I've been talking about this a lot. Jamon Brown does an interview with John Clark, and he says, "Hey, man, you know what?" They said, "Hey, have you spoke to Brandon Brooks, who is arguably the best guard in the game?" Jamon Brown said, "Yeah, I spoke to him. Yeah, I spoke to him. But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put my own thing to it. I'm gonna put my own swag to this game." And when I saw that, I'm like, "He gonna put his own swag to the game?" I've never heard swag used to describe anything offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because we the big nasty cats, man. We don't, swag. That ain't us. That's for the little guys. Let the receivers, the running backs, DBs, let them talk about swag. Offensive line play is a nasty position. We look awful in the all white. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good look for offensive linemen. That's a good look for the young little cats.
Right.
We want to be in the dark colors. So we want to be nasty. We want to. It ain't nothing to have boogers hanging. It's nasty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want everything nasty about what I'm doing with my play.
Yeah.
Swag is not the way you describe offensive line play. And that's when I knew that, all right, you know what? This might not be that good. And so right out the gate, you got to say, first play of the game now, Jordan Milada had his hands in it, because he got edged. But, Campbell just went and had his way with Jamon Brown throughout the game. Jamon Brown, he did a couple things that was okay. You know what? All right, that was decent. But, man, Campbell just had an all-pro day against him. And then, to wrap it all up, to bring it all together, you go out there, you get your behind kick up and down the field, and you say, you know what? I want a keepsake from this game. So what do?
Here we go.
You go and take a picture with Lamar Jackson. Like, hey, man, let's seal this game in history by taking a picture of Lamar Jackson. So anytime you look on your wall and you got this picture of Lamar Jackson, all you can think about is, man, Campbell had his way with me out there. There was one play where Campbell gave him a hip toss. And I just sat there. I've been going through the film. And I tell you, Jamon Brown, by the time he stopped rolling, now the ball was on the right hash, okay?
Yeah.
We're going down the field. So the ball is on the right hash. By the time Jamon Brown stopped rolling, he was outside the numbers. That's about a strong 5 to 6 yard roll. Like, if for real, that's a strong 5 to 6 yards. I got to look this up to just see how they mark the fields, to see how much that distance is. But that's at least a strong 6 to 7 yard roll, man, where you didn't stop until you were outside the numbers. I'm like, man, what? This is what, and this isn't a rookie. You're a seasoned vet.
Yeah.
But, swag. Something we all get is that's what, because, whenever one of these young kids throw a term, I go to my Urban Dictionary, just so, because Urban Dictionary, Webster, depending on who you ask, I don't know. It's
Yep.
kind of the same. But swag, I had to look it up. Swag, defined in the Urban Dictionary, is something we all get when you go to like expos or whatever, the little swag bag.
Right.
Everybody got something. Even he got a sack because he was in on one of the Carson Wentz sacks.
When they signed him, everybody was talking about he would be a great additional depth to this offensive line. And, you look at his pedigree at other places he had been at, didn't play that badly. Now, I understand, okay, he hadn't played much here. Again, shortened training camp, not a whole lot of reps when you get closer to the season with the front liners. But still, you have to have a inner mental mechanism and wherewithal to basically know what you're doing, because in most cases, it didn't even look like he knew what he was doing out there.
Yeah, there were times where he was late on some of the blitzes. He was late off the ball. There was one time where they were in empty backfield. I think Kelce was a little late coming back. So one of those sacks was on Kelce. But it just seemed like at times that, it just wasn't right for him. And I mean, he's been around the league for, I don't know how many years he's been in the league. I got to look this up. But it's just, I don't know, man. If you knew that you were going to be starting in this game, or even if you know that, all right, the way injuries have been going and the way things have been going, it just seemed like it will behoove you to stay sharp, because you never know when you're going to be in the game. And here you are, you find yourself in the game, and he brought swag to the table, though. Something we all get.
I don't even know what swag is. I'm still trying to figure it out. I've heard it for the last 5-6 years. I'm still trying to figure out, because everybody has a different definition of swag.
Well, yeah, swag is something we all get. Now, it's swagger. Swagger is something different, because that's kind of like, your pizzazz or whatever. Okay. I don't know. But when you're talking about swag, it's something we all get. Swag bag. Like whenever you go to like, little expos or whatever, you get like little pins and bags and all that or whatever. I don't know, man. These kids today, man, I can't keep up with all that.
I agree with you 100%. We have sat here for X amount of weeks, and we have ripped up Carson Wentz's game early on in the season, talking about what the heck is he doing? Why is he out of sync? Is his head into the game? But I want to stop right now and give Carson Wentz his props, especially over the last couple of games, because it seems like the old Carson Wentz, the warrior Carson Wentz, is back. And in this game in particular against a Baltimore Ravens team that tattooed his butt up and down the field, 16 hits on him, 6 quarterback sacks. I'm going to tell you, Trey, as long as I've been around this game, I've seen a lot of quarterbacks fold up shop and mentally go home before the game is over. This man out here fighting and keeping his team in the game. Now, he was going to be black and blue after that game, but I got a lot of respect for Carson, even more so after coming out of a game like that.
Absolutely, man. I like I was talking to somebody, man, I'll go to war with Carson any day of the week, man. I mean, this is somebody that is out there willing to lay it on the line every play, because you could have easily said, hey, man, you know what? Things aren't working. My offensive line just is not holding up. Pull me out of this game before I get hurt. But Carson, being the player that he is, continued to battled all the way throughout this game. And now you find yourself in a situation where you can at least tie this game and possibly come out of there with a win. So, I mean, Carson just, I know a lot of people, and that's just being a quarterback. You're going to be criticized no matter what. And that just comes with the position. But, it's just when you see his heart and he's just out there just trying to get it done. I mean, how can you not respect and appreciate that? Especially being a blue-collar city like Philadelphia, the way the fan base is here, you can only appreciate. How can you not appreciate the type of work and effort that this man is trying to get out there, even with the way everybody is falling down around him?
I mean, this man is going to war without his top 3 wide receivers right now. Is now his top 2 tight ends are gone. When he steps to the line of scrimmage, the only person he's really familiar with, if Lane Johnson's not there, is a guy in front of him, Jason Kelce. Yeah. If mindset, I wish I could be inside his mind when I step in the huddle. Okay, we're going to run. No, wait, no. All right, Jason, can you run this route? Travis, I know you got a little bit of experience over here. Then you got to turn around. Miles Sanders is not there. Boston Scott, you bailed me out sometime last year. Can I count on you?
Mm-hmm.
And Corey Clement, what's up with Corey Clement, man? I mean, I was excited for the young man to come back this season. He can barely get on the field, and when he does get on the field, he's not doing anything.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with the injuries. I don't know what's going on with this team. It's to me, it just is not. It's such a weird dynamic going on right now, where it's just guys, just do you want to play? Like, what's the situation? Like, what? How are you not making your way onto this field? I do not understand it. I don't. Maybe you're saving them for something. I don't know. But it seems to me that it should be all hands on deck, especially when you're trying to make a push for this thing.
To me, it looks like Carson, in some ways, we call it improvising, but it looks like he's drawing up plays in the dirt. Because, number one, he's got to run for his life. He's trying to make things happen. He doesn't know. Okay, he has some experience with a Greg Ward. And now JJ, I think of Whiteside beating his chest, but we still can't get JJ to get 5, 6, 7 catches in a game for whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Travis Fulgham is emerging. Jason Croom, okay, he's on the roster. Man, I tell you what, man, I'm saying a prayer for Carson every week now, man. Throw out some holy water or something for this man.
Something. I mean, because he needs the protection from the above. Because right now, because right now, man, I mean, it's I don't even know like what's going to happen now that Jack Driscoll can't be your right tackle. Oh, because he's down with an ankle issue. Is Lane Johnson even going to be healthy and ready to come back? Really, what happens if you?
Your facial expression right now, it epitomizes the city fan base of Philadelphia, that blank look on your face.
Just telling you, man, like what happens if you lose one more offensive lineman?
Oh, my goodness.
Like if you lose one more offensive lineman, what's going to happen? You don't have anybody. You don't even have any tight ends. You got Rodgers. Now, Rodgers, he made a couple big catches out there, but.
Yeah. Richard Rodgers might be your next right tackle. You never know.
You never know. I mean, you might have to bring Prince, I think, Prince out of there. Dang, I said his name all wrong. You might have to bring Prince back or whatever to put him out there. I mean, it's, because you still have 10 more games left. You still have 11 games. Games.
Oh, my goodness.
So, and the way right now, we're averaging, 2 to 3 guys a week?
A week.
That's coming out, that's done for multiple games. So you still have 11 games left.
10 games.
10 games. Well, we played 6, so it's 1-4. Yeah. So you still have 10 games.
I know that new math is messing you up, but
yeah, it was messing me up a little bit. I was a little off.
All right, we're going to step aside for just a moment to pay a bill. And, of course, week 6 of the football season is in the books, and now it's time to review and tape and get ready for week number 7. And there is no better place to get in on all the action than with the DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Now, to add to the excitement of week number 7, DraftKings Sportsbook is bringing back their can't-miss offer. If you haven't tried DraftKings Sportsbook yet, head to the App Store right now because you don't want to miss any of this. Now, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new users the chance to earn a sign-up bonus of up to $1,000 when signing up using the promo code ITB. DraftKings Sportsbook has endless ways for you to bet, from live betting to betting on your favorite players. They do it all. Now, don't worry if football is not for you. DraftKings is giving all MMA and baseball fans who sign up now the chance to turn $1 into $100 by betting on either this weekend's UFC 254 or by taking action on any baseball championship game. DraftKings is safe, reliable, and secure, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code ITB when you sign up and get up to $1,000. That's right, $1,000. That's code ITB to get a sign-up bonus of up to $1,000 for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, back to the action we go, and we flip the script a little bit and go over to the defensive side of the ball. And Trey, I'm going to start with one name, Javon Hargrave. Brought in here. Thought he would be the perfect complement to Fletcher Cox. We thought he would be the perfect complement to alleviate a lot of the burden and the pressure on Fletcher Cox. Free Fletcher Cox up in a lot of ways. I ain't heard Javon Hargrave's name in quite some time. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Have you?
I haven't. I haven't. What number does he wear?
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know. Because we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it.
What number does he wear?
We haven't seen it. I'm just saying, we haven't seen it. Like everybody else, we know what number Hargrave wear.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like that pretty much lets you know where we are and what's going on. That's tough, man. When you have all this money that you've invested into your defensive line, and you expect the Hargrave to be that guy to come in here and make some plays for you, and it's just not the case. I mean, now you have Jackson that's going down. Like, what's going on? This defensive line is not producing like you thought it was, but Hargrave is just not, we need to see some results from the money that he's making.
Defense as a whole, especially the front, because the defensive front is the bread and butter of that defensive unit. Now, they got 3 sacks on Lamar Jackson. And I understand Lamar Jackson is a difficult customer to get hits on. But, man, you got to do a better job. What was it, 3 sacks and only 4 hits on Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson back there having fun, man. For the most part, he's not feeling any pressure at all. And, if anything, you got to make Lamar Jackson feel like you come in every play. It's not happening up front, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, I mean, he's someone that – and I don't know if they kind of adopted the old mush rush type situation where you used to play against Vic, when you have a quarterback that's so athletic like that, where, you just kind of stay in your lanes and let him just pick his thing. But Lamar Jackson is just like Russell Wilson and a big fast like Michael Vick. But he's like Russell Wilson, where it doesn't matter where the hole is. He's going to take whatever is there. And he did a really good job of like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and get upfield and make a couple plays. Now, he only ran for a couple 100 yards. But, again, I thought that our defense should have been a little bit more creative with confusing him, because he's not one of those quarterbacks like someone that's a little bit more seasoned, where he can pick apart all of the different blitzes and all of that. He wasn't going to wow you with his arms, wasn't going to do anything crazy as far as his passing game, just because I don't think he has proper mechanics when he throws the ball. But one thing I can say about our defensive line is that they did a good job of getting their hands up when they didn't feel like they were going to get there with the rush, and getting a hand on the ball. You saw a couple ball deflections out there, but, to me, I would have given him a couple of different looks to kind of keep him confused and not make him feel so comfortable in the pocket. But again, man, Lamar Jackson was just out there playing around. On that one touchdown that he threw, I mean, he just sprinted out to the right, and then he stopped, went back, come back. Oh, you know what? I'm going to hit this tight end right here. Now go ahead and get on in the end zone. I felt like you should have layered their pass rushes a little bit better, but you know what? Not everybody does something like that. But, to me, I just felt like we should have come with a little bit more to keep him confused.
Give me your general assessment of the Eagles' pass coverage, especially the last couple of games. Now, Lamar Jackson didn't throw up gaudy numbers. I think he had 188 yards passing. But, again, there are times – and, defensive players will tell you, you know what? Offensive players get paid to make money, get paid to make plays too. We make some plays, they make some plays. But I think the general theme has been with this defense in terms of pass coverage is they make a play, but they give up too many plays in key situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that, when you look at the pass coverage, I think that it's been okay at times, but you need pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because the pass coverage can only give you so much. The pass coverage, when I look at the way I look at football on the defensive side of the ball, I need the pass coverage to give me at least 2.5 seconds of coverage. Give me at least 2.5. By that time, a helmet should be on the quarterback's should be on the quarterback, because protection naturally breaks down at 2.5 seconds. So really all I need and coverage is I need you to get up, be a little bit more physical, and give my defensive front at least 2.5. If you can give me at least 2.5, then now we should be putting a helmet on the quarterback. So if they do give that and the rush doesn't get there, then now you're going to get picked apart because they can't cover all day. You know, so to me, I just feel like our rush is not getting home at times. And then when you go up against this team here, where this was an offensive line that we should have taken advantage of, but we weren't able to do it. I mean, for whatever reason, we come out of there with 3 sacks, but there were sacks when Lamar Jackson was just running around, messing around, and getting rid of the ball. It wasn't like you went out there and just whooped the man and got to him.
You know, Brandon Graham is probably the only defensive lineman that has been playing consistently well all season long. And after this game against the Ravens, he said, you know what? It's going to turn around. It's going to turn around. You know, just believe me, it's going to turn around. And, you know, and I, in some ways I do believe him, because eventually, I don't know when, but eventually, some of these key missing pieces are going to come back. Zach Ertz is going to come back. Dallas Goedert is going to come back. Deshaun Jackson is going to come back. Miles Sanders is going to come back. Sayamalo is going to come back. So if they can just hold on in the worst division of football, as ugly as it looks, you know, Brandon Graham's theory may prove to be right down the road.
I don't know. To me, I feel like, if you put together a couple of wins, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you put together a couple of wins, then all right, possibly guys are going to come back. But if you put together a couple more losses behind that, you get a couple more L's, cats are going to be like, what am I coming back for? We're not going into the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I may as well go ahead and just finish the season out in the training room, make sure I'm good and healthy, and get ready for next season, because it's going to be hard to keep this team focused and ready to go out there and go to war if they get a couple more losses.
Now, I don't disagree with you, but from a person on the outside looking in, and I've heard not only you say that, but other, you know, former players as well say that time and time again about when things are going bad, players mentally will pack it in and look further down the road. But I will counter with this. You know, you are a professional athlete. You have the privilege of playing a game at the highest level that most of us can only dream of. You are getting paid high 6- and 7-figure salaries and bonuses to go out there and be the gladiator that you're supposed to be, come hell or high water, week in or week out. I expect full optimal effort out of you each and every week. If I even think that you mentally cashing it in, I will cut your butt or sit your butt down. How do you respond to that?
Okay. That check still come on Tuesday. That was very passionate. Yeah, I loved it. It was fire and brimstone. All right, but I'm just going to tell you, man, you're going to have some of them guys, they mess around and you get a couple more L's. Yeah. All right, look, you're going to see who's going to be pissing on the campfire real quick. Ooh. You know, where they like, all right, I'm out of here, you know, because it's not going the way we want to. You don't want to, I don't want to have surgery after the season. So you're going to start seeing, if you mess around and you get a couple more L's, you're going to start seeing guys kind of like, all right, oh, hey, that right there hurt. You know what? Yeah, all of that. Yeah, you know, I expect this and no, okay.
All right, all right, let's move ahead to hopefully what is a get well type game for the Eagles. Thursday night at the Link, the Eagles have the New York Giants coming to town. The 1-5 New York Giants, who got their first W thanks to Riverboat Ron Rivera gambling on a 2-point try instead of trying to tie the game and send it to overtime. The Giants are now +1 in the win column. Please tell me there's no way they can lose to the Giants on Thursday night, Trey. Please tell me.
I wish I could. You know, if this team made me feel a little bit more comfortable and gave me some type of confidence to think that we can just go in there and get a win, you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if we got another tie. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
Just because of the way things have been going, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, because I just don't know. There's just so much going on with this team. So many injuries. The offensive line has just been wrecked. Now you got Toth coming in. Did I pronounce his name right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. I thought it was good. So you got Toe coming in there. We're not sure what's going to happen with Matt Pryor at right guard. So who knows how this is going to play out? I mean, Carson Wentz can only take so many hits. I mean,
Yeah.
right now he's been sacked, 25 times, most in the league? And that's just sacks. Don't even forget about the quarterback hits. And this has been something that's been happening for years.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't, a lot of people, like, you look at the wins, but you don't go back and you look at how many times. Last year, he was hit over 100 times, sacked over 40 sometimes. The year before, hell, when he came back from that broken back, he was sacked. When he came back from his knee injury in 2017, he was sacked like almost 20 sometimes in the first 3 games back. That's when he got it. Then he had a broken back. So, I mean, this is something he's been taking a lot of punishment for a couple of years now.
When you look at the upcoming Eagles schedule, Trey, it's imperative. I don't care who you put on the field, but it's imperative you get it done because you have the Giants Thursday night. Then you have the Cowboys on November 1st. Then you have a bye, and then you go play at the Giants. I mean, that should be 3 straight wins to put you 1 over in the win column. That should put you 4 wins, especially before you go into the meat and potatoes of the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Should.
You know what?
Should.
I would be interested to see how Doug handles this bye week. Depending on, because I mean, right now, because usually during the bye week is the time that coaches kind of like, all right, man, y'all get on out of here. If you got a couple wins and you strongly put together some wins, y'all get away, go clear your mind. How are teams handling bye weeks this year? With all the COVID protocols and everything that's going on, how are you going to handle bye weeks? And with this team, depending on how, hopefully we can get 2 W's. Hopefully we can pull 2 W's out of here. But if you don't, how are you going to handle that bye week? Are you going to be the player-friendly coach and say, hey, guys, get on out of here, get away from here? Or are you going to be like, you know what, let's take this as a week to get back to the basics because I'm trying to finish this thing off strong. Because right now, everybody's playing for a job.
Yeah. Good point. If you look at the Eagles situation after the 2 games with the Giants and the Cowboys, and they have Cleveland. Now, this is crazy. They have Cleveland, and Cleveland's no joke. Then after that, you have Seattle. Then after that, you have Green Bay. Then after that, you have the Saints.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, after that, you still have Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. So, I mean, your plate is full. Your cup is runneth over.
When you look at this upcoming game against the Giants on Thursday night, give me a couple of keys that you will be watching closely on.
Protection. Are we going to be able to protect Carson? I mean, are we going to be able to protect Carson? Can you keep Carson up? And, again, we're going to need our receivers, Fogle, to continue to do his thing. I mean, he's been quite impressive over these past couple of weeks. But, I mean, we need to continue to progress and protect Carson at all costs. And with such a quick turnaround, with the medical staff the way it's been,
what does that mean?
I mean,
what are you saying?
It's like the black hole, man. You go in that training room, you might not come out. So who knows what's going to happen? You got players that this is a quick turnaround to get you. I mean, this game was a physical game against Baltimore. You took some big hits, so now you got to turn it right back around and get ready to go back out here and go to battle again against another hungry and desperate team.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just wish that this team could give me something to make me feel confident and strong about the next week's performance. But now, I was impressed by what Carson brought to the table over these past couple of weeks, even though they still came up short. But, when you keep getting beat with a lot of these different games and a lot of these stunts and a lot of these different blitz packages and stuff, it's a copycat league. And everybody's going to sit there and watch this film and say, you know what? This is what their problem is. And anytime that they get in these situations, I'm going to do what the other team did because you're going to keep getting tested with the same stuff until you pass. And, we haven't passed not one of those tests yet, especially when it comes to the protection.
Well, keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully the next time you and I get together right here, we're talking about a Birds W. Man, we haven't had much chance to say that this season, have we? Birds
No, we
W.
talked about 1 W and a tie.
And a tie. But
Yeah.
you know what? Better days are ahead. The sun is going to shine. I'm telling you, Trey, it's coming.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
I
Well,
hope.
the sun is going to come out regardless. I mean, either way, it's. Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's going to wrap up the latest edition of Grilling the Birds, brought to you by Inside the Birds. But that crazy man right there, Trey Thomas, I'm D.Gunn. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you next week. And I believe we'll be talking about an Eagles win over the Giants. So long, everybody.
Hoping.